Alright everyone, welcome back to another video, and today what I have for everyone is my full review of the Pitaka MagEZ case for the iPhone 15 Plus. Now, I've been using this case for a good amount of time, and I feel like I've gathered all my thoughts and opinions on it, and that's what I'm going to share with everyone in today's full review. So hopefully by the end of this video, you guys and gals know if this case is worth picking up for your device, or if you have an iPhone 15 Plus like I do, is this case worth picking up for your iPhone 15 Plus? That being said, let me do some quick housekeeping, and then we're going to dive into today's full review. So recording the video here today, I am using the rear-facing primary camera on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. There is no external microphone hooked up, and I am using my professional studio lights here today. So please let me know how you guys and gals feel about the overall video quality, as well as the overall audio quality and the lighting of today's video. As always, your feedback is always greatly appreciated. Just remember, you guys and gals need to keep it respectful, please. That being said, today's video is being recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS, okay? And if this video piques your interest, or you would like to see any more extended coverage on the iPhone 15 Plus itself, or any more of my favorite accessories for the iPhone 15 Plus, I'll link up all of that stuff down below in the video description, and down below will contain affiliated buy links, meaning that if you guys and gals decide to pick up a product using the links down below, I do get a small percentage of commission that I do put back into the channel, and that's at no additional cost to you guys and gals. So down below in the video description will truly be like a one-stop shop for you guys and gals, and you should be good to go. And those affiliate buy links are a win-win for everyone in my opinion. Alright, housekeeping done, let's get into today's full review. Let's go. So starting off here, the first thing I want to talk about with everyone is the overall build quality and design of the MagEZ case for the iPhone 15 Plus. Now, in terms of the overall build quality and build materials, this is primarily built out of aramid fiber, or basically an offshoot of carbon fiber, all right? And you have your nice MagSafe magnets built into the inside here, as you can see right there, okay? And you also have some nice TPU protection for your cameras, as you can see right there, okay? But that's all we have in terms of the build materials for this case. Is basically aramid fiber and little raised plastic areas for certain parts, all right? And in terms of the build materials, I do have to say Pitaka did a great job here. This material actually feels very nice in the hands, and it is very lightweight, okay? So really, really good stuff there in terms of the overall build quality. But talking about the overall design, this is where I feel Pitaka fell a little short. You can see this is a very slim, low profile design case, but there is basically no protection here. So you can see the bottom is wide open. The sides are basically wide open except for corner protection, but you have your buttons wide open on either side, okay? And basically you just have corner protection for your display. Flipping it to the back, all you have is some raised lip camera protection, and then you don't really have anything else. And the worst part of this is, although this is very grippy material, it collects fingerprints like nobody's business. Now, I'm sure if I tilt it in the light just right, you can see the fingerprints. So, although it does have a nice grippy texture, it is a fingerprint magnet. And by far, the worst part of this design is the overall deinstallation process. Now, I'm going to put it on so y'all can see how it looks on my device. But taking this off of my device is very, very difficult, all right? So the design here definitely takes some major hits, in my opinion, primarily because it does not fulfill the primary major aspect of what I feel a case should fulfill. To me, when I think about picking up a case for my device, I want it to do primarily two things. I want it to provide extra overall protection for my device, and I want it to provide some grip and be fingerprint resistant, okay? That is the primary two things or three things that I'm really looking for in a case. Bonus, if it can still maintain full functionality, so if I can get full functionality of my device and not have to take the case off, that's a bonus. Bonus, if it can work really nicely with some of my favorite screen protectors and camera lens protectors, that's a bonus. But primarily, when we talk about the design and functionality of a case, it needs to offer full protection for my device and offer some much needed grip for my device while being fingerprint resistant, okay? And the design aspect, at least from that design aspect, that's where I feel this case falls a little short. So the build quality, in my opinion, is top notch, but the design overall, in my opinion, is just okay to good at best. So as a result of that, that drops the overall build quality and design of this case, in my opinion, down to just really good overall. Okay? Now, moving on, let's talk about the overall fit and feel of the case on my device. So I have my iPhone 15 Plus right here. It does have one of my favorite tempered glass screen protectors on it, and it does have one of my favorite camera lens protectors on it, so y'all can see. Now, as I said, putting the case on my device is super easy. That's pretty much it. You slide it in, it clicks in, we're in business, right? But the hard part here is taking the case off, right? Taking this case off is extremely difficult, right? But as you can see, in terms of the fit, it does fit very nicely. But as I said, everything is wide open. Look at that. My speakers, my microphone, my charging port, wide open. My power button, wide open. My volume rockers, my mute slider, wide open. Now, I do understand the benefits of this, because then you don't really have to worry about the case having to provide clicky materials, because it just passes straight through to the actual buttons. So the buttons are very nice and clicky and tactile because there's nothing blocking them. But the downside of that is you lose protection, right? But talking about the overall fit, it is a top-notch overall fit. I just wish the installation or de-installation was a little bit easier. And it does feel very, very nice in the hands, right? And it has some very grippy materials. So holding this with a loose grip, it's not going to slide out of my hands. Really, really nice. Feels really nice in the hands. But as I said, it is a fingerprint magnet, and you can see it is picking up a ton of fingerprints once the light hits it just right. So that is the one downside of the overall fit and feel in hand. So overall, I have to say the fit is top notch, but the feel in hand is just really good. So overall, on the whole, I'd have to say the fit and feel of this Pitaka case for my device is really good. Now, moving on, let's talk about an important aspect of this case, something that I've been alluding to a lot throughout this video so far, and that is the protection, right? So you can see, in terms of the protection, we basically have none for our display. So you can see my device is actually rising up a little bit higher than the case actually provides. So you can see there's no lip protection here, okay? And basically, we just have corner protections, right? But our charging port is wide open, our buttons are wide open, and we do have camera lens protection here with a nice raised lip. That's it. But our display is fully exposed. Now, this does have an added benefit of being screen protector friendly. So you guys and gals can see this particular case does work very, very nicely with third-party screen protectors. And you guys and gals can see this particular case does work really well with third-party camera lens protectors, but the display is wide open. So in terms of protection, this one is not really offering much. This is basically scratch protection, basically, okay? So in terms of the overall protection that this case provides, I'd have to say it's okay to good at best, and it definitely needs some work. Okay? Okay, so you can see this is not going too well for this Pitaka case. That being said, let's move on now. Let's talk about some of the positives and the negatives of this case. All right? And disclaimer, I am not perfect and I never claim to be, so I'll have a full list of the positives that I experienced thrown up in the video in post, and I have a full list of the negatives that I experienced thrown up in the video in post as well. Please feel free to pause the video wherever you see the list that you're interested in if you'd like to read up and know more. And that being said, if you guys and gals decide to pick up this case for yourself and you experience a positive that I did not mention in this video, or i.e. a negative that I did not mention in this video, please leave your feedback down below in the comments as well. Only through providing our feedback can we get overall improvements on the products and devices that we spend our hard-earned money on. Okay? Disclaimer done. Let's get into it now. Let's start off with the positives, okay? As I said, the overall build quality here is top-notch, right? Really nice build material. Very, very nice. Very, very premium, okay? Next, the overall fit, okay, is really good, all right? And this is available for a really great price depending on the model that you want to go with, okay? So those are all of the positives in my opinion. We're going to go over the pricing and availability in a little bit here. Now, moving on, let's talk about the negatives. One more thing I almost forgot. It does, because it maintains MagSafe, still maintain full functionality. So y'all can see, I can drop it on my charger here. It charges up. All of my MagSafe accessories still work. So that is another positive as well. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that and don't forget it. So you still do maintain full functionality if you decide to pick up this case. All right, that was the last positive. Now let's go ahead and dive into the negatives. And negative number one, and probably the biggest one for me, is the design. Okay, this open design, open bottom, open side, open display design, I am not a big fan of it, because that means essentially this case is just for style and scratch protection and grip, okay? Not a fan of that, okay? Especially with the fact that this case is very hard to take off. Also not a fan of that, okay? So the design definitely needs to be improved, and that is a major negative in my opinion, okay? Next, the protection. Like I said, this case basically offers no protection. The only protection you have here is scratch protection. That's it. Like I showed you already, the bottom is open, the display is open, the buttons is open. So if I drop my device on the side, my buttons might get messed up, okay? If I drop it, charge port down, my microphone, my charge port might get messed up. And Lord forbid, if I drop it display down, that display is getting all messed up. So there is actually almost no protection from this case. So the protection that this case offers definitely needs to be improved. All right. And then the last negative, you heard me mention it already. This case is a fingerprint magnet. So they definitely need to incorporate an oleophobic coating to cut down on the fingerprints. And this is another one that I definitely want to mention, certain models of this case can get very, very expensive. So even the pricing, depending on the model of the case that you want to go with, although it does start out relatively inexpensive, it can get very, very expensive. We're going to talk about that. So I can also put the pricing and availability in the negatives as well. So I can put it in the positives, but I can also put it in the negatives as well. So you may see it in both. I haven't decided. I'm going to have to decide when I'm editing the video. But that goes over the negatives in my opinion. And in my opinion, there are a lot of very glaring negatives. All right. Now, let me put it this way because I'm very scared to put my device face down with this case on. Now, moving on, let's get into the final part of this video. Let's talk pricing. Let's talk overall availability. Let me get into sharing my final thoughts and make an overall recommendation. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I do have to let everyone know yet again, as I did in the unboxing video, this was another product, another case brought to you guys thanks in large part to the Amazon Vine program. So what does that mean? This came into the channel completely free of charge, and all I had to do was use the case and then write up and submit a full written review to be published on Amazon, going over my experience, and then the case is mine to keep. All right? But I still did do my due diligence and scour the internet and find the current pricing and overall availability. Okay? And we're going to talk about that right now. And let me pull up the live listing so I can tell y'all in real time what the pricing is. So, this particular variant that you guys and gals see here, this is the Pitaka MagEZ case 600D aramid fiber case for the iPhone 15 Plus. This particular model is what they call Overtune, okay? That design with the strip, this is what they call Overtune, right? And this particular model is the most inexpensive model that Pitaka offers for the iPhone 15 Plus. This one comes in at $13.99, so basically $14 before tax. That is relatively inexpensive. Now, they do have two other models, and this is where I say the pricing can get very, very expensive, right? So their next model up, let me pull this up, is called the Rhapsody, and this one is available for $39.99. Basically, same material, slight color variation, slight pattern variation. I'll have B-roll thrown up in post so y'all can see what the different variants of the case look like, and you can see the pricing for yourself. But this particular one, which is what they're calling Rhapsody, is available for $39.99. Okay? Basically $40 before taxes. And then the last one, and this is the most expensive one, this is the Milky Way Galaxy, right? And actually, this one is currently out of stock. That's very funny. Prior to recording this video, this one was $70, right? And right now, it's currently saying, oh, there is one available for $59.99. So right now, they have one available for $59.99. But prior to me re-recording this video, because this is a reshoot, all right? When I originally recorded this video, it was $70, right? Right now, as of the recording of this video, which is September 25th, it's now going for $60, $59.99, all right? And for a case that offers minimal protection like this, that's not worth it, in my opinion. That's very, very expensive for something that's, again, just offering essentially scratch protection and camera lens protection. $60 for that, I don't feel that's worth it. Okay? And even further still, at the regular retail price of $70, because that one's on sale right now, that's definitely not worth it. If I'm dropping $70, $60, anything over $40, I need full protection with full functionality. So to be dropping $40 to $70 and getting this type of minimal protection, at those prices, it's going to be a non-recommendation from me. Okay? But that being said, this particular one, the $14 one, okay, the Overtune. If you're a fan of minimalistic cases and you just want a case that's going to give you style points and scratch protection and maintain full functionality for your device, then at $14, yeah, I can recommend this, okay? But at the same time, if you're going to spend more than $14, you definitely want to pass on this. And honestly, I don't see why there's such a dramatic difference in the pricing. Now, yes, there is a difference in the quality of the material. So this $13, $13.99, $14 version is using what they call the, let me pull it up because I want to make sure I get it right. It's using what they call, I think it's, yes, 1600D aramid fiber material. Okay? And they're selling their 1600D version of the aramid fiber material with fusion weaving for $14. And then you move up to the next one, the Rhapsody, and I do believe there is a material change. Yes. So the Rhapsody is going up to 1500D quality material. And that one is $40. I'm going to round it to the nearest dollar just to make it easy. And then the Milky Way Galaxy is also using 1500D aramid fiber material. And that one's going for between $60 and $70. And essentially, the difference between the second version and the third version is basically just the pattern and the design. There's no additional protection, none of that. So to have such a drastic difference in price, just based off of the materials and the design, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. Okay? But the first variant, the Overtune variant, as I said, if you're a fan of minimalistic designs and you just want scratch protection, okay, and you want more grip for your device, I can recommend this. But if all the negatives that I pointed out are deal breakers for you, and I gotta be honest, these negatives are some very big deal breakers for me, then I can also recommend that y'all pass on this as well. Okay? So, y'all can see there's my overall opinions, there's my overall recommendations. Yes, depending on the type of customer that you are and the style of case that you're going for. No, depending on the type of customer that you are, and if you want more maximum protection, then you want to pass on this. Okay? That being said, I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I hope you guys and gals found it helpful. If you did, please help your boy out by giving the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. Hope everyone is having a great day. Hope you guys and gals are staying safe out there. And I will catch everyone on the next video or in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. We're out of here. Peace.